You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
This is the Daniel Monday Night Community Show on demand through YouTube. Thank you very much for choosing to listen to us through this method. If you'd like to keep up to date with when I add new interviews, then subscribe to this channel. So we're out and about. We're at the Sheppey Little Theatre. We're going to be talking to Jeremy and Janys all about how the theatre's celebrating 40 years of entertaining people here on the Sheppey. I was hoping you could start off with what you're planning to celebrate.
The theatre is putting on 2 anniversary celebration shows called Showcase 40 with local singing and dance groups, and they'll be performing a matinee at 3:30 and again an evening show at 7:30, and this is on the 24th of October. There's 2 different prices for the tickets. The tickets for the matinee are just £5 and the evening they're £8, and we've given some tickets to BRFM for a competition, so people should listen out for that. The groups performing in the show are the Sheppey Singers, Merrick Minstrels, StarQuest Theatre School, Sounds Familiar, Memory Lane, Four of a Kind, Newington Concert Party and the Island Performing Arts. And as well as these groups, there's going to be some individual acts. So it all promises to be very entertaining. And I'll say, if you haven't got tickets already, hurry down to Sheppey Glass, get them as soon as possible. We're expecting a sellout, and I think somebody's told us that the evening is almost sold out already.
So I was hoping you could tell us how it all began.
In the late 1960s, 2 local theatre groups decided it'd be good to work together. So the Sheppey Theatre Group and the Sheppey Phoenix Choir formed a subcommittee, and not long after decided to make this a permanent arrangement. So they formed the Sheppey Entertainments Association, and that's what the name of the group who run the theatre is still today. 3 people were instrumental in making this happen: Alex Stride, Richard Morton and Paul Dummett. Alex Stride at the time was the leader of the Phoenix Choir and was also secretary of the Hope Street Church, Congregational Church. And the church had 2 church halls, both belonging to the building, which needed to be maintained and obviously cost them money. And Alex expressed an interest in maybe buying the Merrick Road Hall for the theatre, so as it could be a place to rehearse.
So, Jeremy, why did Hope Street actually have 2 church halls, and isn't that sort of unusual?
Yeah, it's very unusual. It probably was very expensive too. Merrick Road Hall was built as a Sunday school for Alma Road Congregational Church in 1892, and 400 children used to come here to Sunday school, and they had 40 Sunday school teachers as well. So from 1892 to 1942, that's what happened. But in August 1942, the church burnt down due to an electrical fault. So the congregation all joined Hope Street Church. So the hall went with the congregation. So Hope Street Church had 2 church halls.
Now, Janys, you were saying it was going to be a place to rehearse, but that's a bit different to a full conversion to a fully equipped theatre. What happened to make those changes? Well,
shortly after the Hope Street made it known they were interested in letting the Sheppey Entertainments Association buy the hall, the committee showed the building to an architect friend who said that he could convert it into a fully functioning theatre because it was quite a high roofed building. There was already a gallery in the top part, and so the potential was there. So plans were drawn up and talks started with the council to seek funding and make it all happen.
How long did the conversion actually take?
About 5 years, and it must have been a really hard slog. It was all done by volunteers giving up a considerable amount of their spare time, and they were helped by local businesses who donated materials free of charge or at cost, and a lot of labour from the prisoners of Stanford Hill prison. And the theatre would contact the governor and say, we need a carpenter, a plasterer and a couple of other skilled people, and the next day someone from the theatre would pick them up and they'd work at the theatre. And in return, the wives cooked for the volunteers and the prisoners, so they got some nice home cooking from this as well. And it was quite a popular job because it got them out of prison for the day, and obviously they did well here.
Now, it's a lovely building, so what else has it been used for, Janys?
Well, it used to be a Sunday school, as you said, and then it became the Scouts Hall. We think it was 8 Sheppey, for cubs, brownies and guides. During the war, it was a British restaurant, and it's had many other uses, but it was a badminton hall, and also before the war it was somewhere where they did gymnastics as well, but now it's also a very busy building. We have member groups every night, most nights rehearsing, and at the weekend on Saturdays we have a dance school, a Star Quest all day.
Now, Jeremy, you've written a book all about this. How did that come about?
Well, Janys and I started volunteering at Sheppey Little Theatre in about 2007, and we were struck as to what fantastic things were achieved by volunteers. People told us that this had used to be in a church hall, and it had taken 5 years to convert it into this fantastic performing space for drama, singing and dancing, and all sorts of music. And when we spoke to people, I think we were struck by how many interesting stories there were, and these weren't written down, and nobody seemed to have all the sort of same information. People had snippets. So I think we were down here one night, and I said to Janys when I got home, I said, you know what, I think I'm going to write all of this down so we can have a history of the theatre and the building itself, and we'll do that to coincide with the theatre's 40th anniversary. So that was in 2011, so there's like lots of time to think about it, and the research started, I suppose, around about 2011, and last August it all picked up momentum. I thought, I better start writing this down, otherwise I won't be ready in time. So that's how it all started.
So is it something you had to do all on your own?
No, I had lots of help. Janys and I did some research. We went over to the Maidstone archive a couple of times to look at the old Sunday school records here. All the minutes of the meetings that the Sunday school teachers had are all in the archive. So that was really fascinating, and some old pictures as well there. So that was interesting. We interviewed various people from the theatre who'd been involved for many years. And I, at one point, had got, sort of like a massive information together, sort of like snippets of, sort of things, memories, fragments of stories that people had started remembering. So we were just talking to other people and saying, well, so-and-so told us about this, can you remember that? And they'd fill in the gaps. So it was literally like a, a patchwork quilt or a jigsaw, and all these stories started coming together. But help from lots of theatre volunteers and people telling me all this information. And also there's quite a lot of paperwork here in the office, so it was a case of taking all that home and seeing what I could make of it.
So the book has been written for quite a long time now?
No, not at all. Last August 2014, I thought I'd better start writing it down seriously, otherwise it wouldn't be ready in time. So I started writing it then, and there was still a lot of research to do, and I knew a full-time job in London, but I wouldn't be able to do it all. So Linda Ragu, who's been volunteering at the theatre almost from the beginning, she said that she'd go down the library and start researching shows and interesting stories about the theatre. I think she caught the research bug. She just kept a constant stream of information coming. I mean, we'd come home from work and she walks our dogs, and there'd be a pile of sort of newspaper cuttings for us to look at, a list of shows, all sorts of things from the library. Much more than I'd have ever been able to lay my hands on. So, Linda very much, sort of accelerated the process, if you like. And if she hadn't have helped, I think the book would have had a lot less information than it does.
So, who else has helped you?
Plenty of people, but I'd like to single out a few others. Paul Hoggins, he's a journalist and he isn't involved with the theatre, so that was good to give him the manuscript, because he could be completely objective. And I did say to him, be honest, is it any good? And I said, I don't want you telling me it's good if it's not. He agreed to look at it, and I'm very pleased he did, because he came back with all sorts of comments about style. I mean, things that I thought looked all all right. He said, no, they need to be a bit different than that. But he also said, you've got loads of different shows in different chapters. And he said, I'm not sure why, that is. Why have you got it in 3 different places? And he suggested a major restructuring of the book, so to have all the shows in one chapter. And I'm glad he did, because it really did improve the book. And the other people that really helped, fantastically, again, this book would not have existed if they hadn't been able to do what they did, and in the time scale as well. I took it to James Apps and Peter Apps, who I'm sure you've interviewed on other things, and they run the Sheppey Writers Group, and they were fantastic. They looked at it for me, and they said, "Yeah, we can do this." And when I told them the deadline, there was a sharp intake of breath, and they said, "Oh, that's all going to be a bit tight, but we think we can do it." And certainly there's been a couple of times where I've been panicking about deadlines, and they were a very calming influence, and able to say, no, we can do this, but we've got to do it in a particular way. And we did. So yeah, I'd never published anything up until now, and they were really great. And I'd say to any budding writer who wants to see their work in print, go and work with the Sheppey Writers Group, because they are very good, and they will help you achieve your goal. And another thing which I must say was that James did the work on the cover, and again he's done a fantastic job on that, and it looks really really good. So they helped me to navigate the world of ISBNs, PDFs and correction sheets, and tips on proofreading, and they've been absolutely marvellous.
So what's the book going to be called, and could you tell our listeners a bit more about it?
Yeah, the book's going to be called Praise and Applause, Merrick Road Hall Sunday School and Theatre, a history. There's lots of colour and black and white images in it, and I start the story of the building when it was built in 1891, and I take readers throughout the years where it was a Sunday school, little snippets of information that we found out from the archives. We talk about the 1942 fire. We got our hands on the newspaper cutting, which told the story in quite a lot of detail, including witnesses' names of who sort of spotted the fire, because it was like early in the morning when this was found. We take you right through all the different uses until the time when the theatre acquires it, and what we've done to it since. We talk about the volunteers that help here, which who else? Without them, we couldn't do what we do. And we talk about a lot of different shows that have been here over the years. And I think one of the main bits of that chapter is just really to demonstrate how diverse the offering has been here. It's been drama, it's been music, song and dance, all sorts, professional, amateur, and some celebrities as well. So there's a lot of information in the book, and I'm hoping that people will buy it.
So how much will it actually cost, and where will people be able to buy it?
Well, the price on the back it says £9.99, but the theatre's going to discount that for anyone who buys it at the anniversary shows in a couple of weeks' time on the 24th of October, and also at the history talk that I'm giving the following Friday. So if you come along on either of those evenings or in the afternoon show, it will be on sale, and you can get it for the discount price of £8, but otherwise it will be on sale for £10. Well, £9.99.
So have you got any other shows coming up?
Yes, obviously we've always got a packed programme of shows coming up. We've got Four of a Kind have got their show on the 28th of November. On the 21st of November we've got James Highland in A Christmas Carol as told by Jacob Marley, brackets deceased. We had him a few years ago, and it was very, very popular. He's a really fantastic actor. So people could get their sort of Christmas treat of seeing that. It's perhaps not suitable for children, though. IPA are doing a panto in February, and StarQuest are doing a pantomime at the end of December. So I think it's 18th, 19th and 20th of December, and that's going to be called A Christmas Cracker. So it's a Christmas show rather than a Christmas pantomime. We do also have some films coming up, because we do put on free films for community groups. So if a community group wanted to have a film, we can put a show on in the afternoon for children, or for people with needs, special needs or anything. We can put a show on. So we've got a Bollywood night coming up, which is being arranged by Amanda's Just June class that meets on Mondays at Sherland. What's it called? Sherland Pub. Sherland's Hotel, and Tuesdays at Castle Connections. And so she's going to have a Bollywood night with a Bollywood film and some Bollywood nibbles. And we've got the Cubs coming in and having a Christmas film. And we've got East Church Primary School and Blaisdell Primary Schools having a film between Christmas and New Year. And say, if other people are interested in putting on a film, then do just contact us and we can make arrangements to do that.
Well, as always...
A little bit about James. James Highland, who's coming to do the Christmas Carol, he's been to the theatre 3 times. He's a regular actor at the Edinburgh Festival, and he really is a sort of fantastic, really powerful actor. So, especially give that a plug. So do come along. If you don't come to that, you'll be missing a treat.
Well, Jeremy and Janys, I'd like to thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to let our listeners know all about the 40 years celebrations and all what you're doing at the moment.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you. Oh, I've just remembered 2 other things. We've got a quiz night at Westminster School for fundraising on the 20th of November, and we've got a craft fair. So if people want to book a table on the 22nd of November. So a packed programme of other things for fundraising as well. Thanks.